Okay. Welcome to Bhakti Steps. We will continue with our Bhagavad Gita reading, chapter 18. Before that, we will chant these prayers. Show on my screen. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manohishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yuktapadagamnam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagar Jatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitansha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sudadevi Pranamami Haripriya वांछाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यो च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So last time we completed this verse 58 where Krishna tells Arjuna, you become conscious of me, then you will overcome all the obstacles. But if you don't work in such consciousness, then you will be lost. And let's go to verse number 59. If you do not act according to my direction and do not fight, then you will be falsely directed. By your nature, you will be engaged in warfare. So Arjuna wanted to become a beggar. And Krishna is saying your nature is to fight. And if somebody disturbs you in begging, doesn't give you alms, you may fight with him then. Then what is the point? You better fight on my direction. So Supreme Lord, he gives direction of what is good, what is bad. And one simply has to act in Krishna consciousness to attain the perfection of life. No one can ascertain his destiny as the Supreme Lord can. Therefore, the best course is to take direction from the Supreme Lord and act. No one should neglect the order of the Supreme Lord or order of the Spiritual Master, who is representative of God. One should act unhesitatingly to execute the order of the Supreme Personal Godhead. That will keep one safe under all circumstances. So, order of the Supreme Personality of God is Sri Krishna, or order of the Spiritual Master, Guru. Both are same, and one should execute those orders. In this regards, there is a very nice instructing story which happened in proper time. So there was this one very elderly gentleman, Indian gentleman, who became a disciple of Srila Prabhupada in Vrindavan. So Prabhupada told him that throughout your life you have worked as a headmaster, teacher of a school, and I am starting here a Gurukul in Vrindavan. Now that you have retired, you take up this service of the Gurukul and you run it. So this is what Prabhupada told him. Then he told to Prabhupada, I have become very old. I don't have that energy to continue. So I may not be able to do. I may not be able to do it. And this incident happened in front of another Prabhupada disciple. His name was Bhurijan Prabhu. So Bhurijan Prabhu was that time very, very young person. And this thing happened in the late 70s, 75, 76, something like that, or 77, 1977. Now in 1996, Bhurijan Prabhu and all the disciples of Prabhupada, they were celebrating the 100 years of Prabhupada. Prabhupada took birth 1896. So 100 Centennial was celebrated in 1996. And that time, Gurujan Prabhu had become old. He was not as young as he was in the 70s. Then he was in Vrindavan in the temple, and suddenly he saw a very old Indian man is approaching him, and that person came directly to Gurujan Prabhu and he started crying. And he started saying, "Don't you remember what Prabhupada told me in the 1970s? He told me to run the Gurukul in Vrindavan." And Gurujan Prabhu was trying to remember. And then he said, "I didn't listen to my spiritual master. I didn't execute his order. And that was the biggest mistake of my life. I stayed at home and it has become hell at home. I am very old, but my children, my relatives, they have no concern for me. I would have better served to what Srila Prabhupada had said." So that is when Gurujan Prabhu remembered this incident that Prabhupada had told him to run the Gurukul in the 1970s. So that is, that is the reality, that when Guru orders something, we have to do it. Okay. And Krishna is telling the same thing. You work according to my direction. For us, we go according to the direction of the spiritual master. Now, this story is there where one didn't listen spiritual master and was crying his whole life. He understood his mistake. Recently, we celebrated Vaman Dwadashi. When was Vaman Dwadashi? Anyone knows? Does anyone know Vaman Dwadashi when it was?
It was yesterday, Prabhu.
Yesterday, Prabhuji.
Yeah, yesterday. So we have heard this pastime of Vaman Dev. Vaman Dev is Krishna or Vishnu who came to, who is this king?
Bali Maharaj.
Bali Maharaj. He came to Bali Maharaj to ask what?
3 feet.
3 foot land.
3 steps of land.
Yes, yes, yes.
Who was the guru of Bali Maharaj?
Shukracharya.
Shukracharya. He told to Bali Maharaj that this Brahmana is actually not Brahmana. He is Vishnu. He will take away everything. You don't promise him anything. Otherwise, you will be lost. What did Bali Maharaj do? What did Bali Maharaj
He
do?
didn't listen.
He
He
didn't
went ahead
listen to
and
his
then.
guru.
Right.
Okay, he didn't listen to his guru. And then what happened? He ultimately lost, right? In 3 steps, 2 steps, Vamandev covered the whole universe. And third step, he said where to put. At that point, Bali Maharaj surrendered as Atma Nivedan. He gave his whole life, his whole Atma, his whole self. And he became Bhakta of, Shuddha Bhakta of Vamandev. Now, my question to you is, here Krishna is saying we should listen to spiritual master and to him, right? But in this pastime, Bali Maharaj didn't listen to his guru. So now how to understand this thing? Should we listen to guru
If
or
it is
not?
not,
Yeah, tell
if
me.
it is not as per Vedas, or if it is not towards Krishna, then we should, even if we are ignoring Guru's message, so I think it
Yeah.
is fine, Prabhu.
So, the guru, the duty of the guru is to repeat what he has learned from his guru, okay? And to repeat what is there in the Shastras. So, in the Shastra, it is said that one should surrender to Vishnu, right?
Yes,
Isn't it?
Prabhu.
Yeah. And here Shukracharya was saying, Bali, don't surrender to Vishnu. But Bali said, Shastra is saying. So therefore, he didn't listen to his guru and he surrendered to Krishna, to Vamandev. Now the point is, we should follow unhesitatingly the execution of the order of a spiritual master when it is in line with the Shastras, it is in line with what the sadhus, the past sadhus and the present sadhus are speaking. So there is a triangle. It's called Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. All three should satisfy. What the Guru is speaking should be from the Shastras. It should be same what the sadhus are there. In Vamandev was grandson of whom? Sorry, not Vamandev.
Prahlad Maharaj,
Uh,
Bali Maharaj.
Bali Maharaj. Yeah, he is the grandson. So Prahlad Maharaj is sadhu. What did sadhu had told? What sadhu had told?
Surrender to Krishna.
Surrender to Krishna. What Shastra is saying? Surrender to Krishna. What Guru is saying? Don't surrender. So then he didn't listen to the Guru. So you understand that this statement is true if and only if it is in line with the sadhus and the shastras. Getting? You understand? Any questions? Any questions on this point? Now,
No problem.
there is one more thing. Buddha. Did Buddha follow Vedas? Buddha is incarnation of Krishna, right? Isn't it?
Yes, Prabhu.
Did he follow Vedas?
No, Prabhu.
So when Krishna also doesn't follow the Vedas, we don't worship him. We don't follow him. So this is the Vaishnava understanding. We respect Buddha. Okay. But when it comes to worship and all that, we don't do. Why? Because he rejected Shastras. Okay. So Buddhists, they don't follow Vedas. Concepts are similar, but it's called Shunyavad. You become zero. So when Krishna can also come and reject the Vedas, no? Like this case, Buddha, we don't accept him. Even though he's in the 10 Dashavatar, we still don't accept him. Any questions? Any questions? Okay. Under illusion, you are not declining to act according to my direction, but compelled by the work born of your nature, you will act all the same, O son of Kunti. Can someone read this purport?
Sure, Prabhu.
Yeah, read it.
If one refuses to act under the direction of the Supreme Lord, then he is compelled to act by the modes in which he is situated. Everyone is under the spell of a particular combination of the modes of nature and is acting in that way. But anyone who voluntarily engages himself under the direction of the Supreme Lord becomes glorious.
Yeah. So we can become glorious by following in the direction of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated on as a machine made of the material energy. This is a very interesting verse. 1861. 1861. ईश्वर सर्वभूतानां हृदयशी अर्जुन तिष्ठति ब्रह्मायं सर्वभूतानि यंत्र माया. Ishvara, the supreme lord, sarvabhutana, hridayashi, in the heart of all beings, tishtati, tishtati means sitting, brahmayam sarvabhutana yantra rudani maya. Yantra, what does yantra means?
Machine.
Machine. Inside the machine they are sitting, brahmayam, traveling, they are traveling inside the machine under maya, under the spell of the material energy, just like a video game. You sit in one car and you drive, collect some points and all. Okay, can someone read the highlighted section?
Should Prabhu. Arjuna was not the supreme knower, and his decision to fight or not to fight was confined to his limited discretion. Lord Krishna instructed that the individual is not all in all. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, or He Himself, Krishna, as the localized Super Soul, sits in the heart, directing the living being. After changing bodies, the living entity forgets his past deeds, but the Super Soul, as the knower of the past, present, and future, remains the witness of all his activities. Therefore, all the activities of living entities are directed by this super soul. The living entity gets what he deserves and is carried by the material body, which is created in the material energy under the direction of the super soul.
Go ahead, read.
As soon as a living entity is placed in a particular type of body, he has to work under the spell of that bodily situation. A person seated in a high speed motor car goes faster than one seated in a slower car. Though the living entities, the drivers, may be the same, similarly, by the order of the Supreme Soul, material nature fashions a particular type of body to a particular type of living entity so that he may work according to his past desires. The living entity is not independent. One should not think himself independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The individual is always under the Lord's control. Therefore, one's duty is to surrender, and that is the injection of the next verse.
Hmm. So a person seated in high speed motor car goes faster, but one seated in rickshaw, can he go faster? No, right? Because that is the limitation of the body. The rickshaw will be slow. If one is sitting in BMW, he will definitely go fast. Okay, now I have a question for you. How many of you taken part in a drama? Hmm? How
Yes,
many?
Prabhu. I
What
have a
had you
part of them.
become?
Krishna Prabhu.
Okay, you have become Krishna. Okay, fine. Um, anyone became any animal? Hmm? Did anyone become any animal? Hmm. Did anyone become any animal? Did anyone become any animal? I'm asking.
No, Prabhu.
In a drama? Any other? Okay, you became a character. Let's say he became Krishna. Who else became what?
Uh, I think we were
Hmm.
portraying for uh, there is a story called someone came and then they pray and they get money from one of the rich men, and then uh, the
Yeah.
ship engineer or someone go into jail, And the sweeper in the temple, he becomes Lord. So that drama we did, Prabhu.
Okay, 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 okay. Okay, somehow I'm not getting.
I think we did also one more drama, Prabhu, where I think we did Kailash
Ah,
story,
Kailash. Okay, okay, good, good.
where
So Kailash become a snake, right?
yeah, snake and dog.
Ah. So how did that devotee act, if you remember? How did a devotee act in the drama?
Yeah,
Hmm.
he became
He
he
became like
became
a
dog
snake,
and he
right?
was
Yeah. And he started saying,
yeah,
hiss, hiss. Good. Now go.
yes,
Huh?
yes, right, Prabhu.
So in a drama, he got the body of what? Snake, isn't it?
Hmm.
He got the character of snake, that's fine. But then, did he break from the character? No, right? He acted as if he was a snake. So, what body we
Correct.
get, right? That kind of character we play. So, a very nice quote is there by Shakespeare. I must have said you. Uh, Shakespeare, Seven Lives quote. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exit and entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his act being seven ages. You know? So these are philosophers, but they do understand that we are just playing roles. And if you read this purport, Prabhupada is saying if one gets a high speed motor car, he will go faster. If one gets a lower one, he'll go slow. This motor car is like a body. So according to what particular type of body we get, we will go we'll go fast or slow. Like I have one more thing to show. Yeah, yeah. Here, yeah. Now, if someone is this character, what is this? Right side, hippopotamus. Hmm? She has to act like a hippopotamus. She got this kind of body, so she will act like that, right? That's the character she got. If someone is having this kind of character,
Yes, sir.
middle one, then he will act like that. If someone is having this kind of character, he will do like that. What kind of bodies we get, we will act that way. So we are not independent, we are dependent. The three modes are controlling us. But if we surrender to Krishna and take shelter of the internal energy of Krishna, who is the internal energy of Krishna? Antaranga Shakti.
Radharani.
Yes, Radharani, Sita, Lakshmi, Rukmini. These are the internal energy of Krishna. So when we surrender to them and perform devotional service in that, following in their footsteps, following in their footsteps, then we'll be free. Then this Bhairanga Shakti, that is Maya, doesn't control us and we'll become glorious. And Krishna says, the Supreme Lord is situated in heart, He is giving everyone this machine. If we surrender unto Him, O son of Bharata, surrender unto Him utterly. By His grace, you will attain transcendental bliss and supreme and eternal abode. So, let's say you go to your friend's place, and your friend's place has a dog, a very vicious dog. He's barking at you. The moment you come to his gate, he's barking at you. What will you do?
We will call him Prabhu
I mean,
so that he can
you
control the
can
dog.
hit the dog also, na? Why you need to call him?
Because we went to his place, so we should not do that.
What is the so great in calling him?
Because he is the owner and he can control.
Yeah. See, when Maya, so when we call him, what will happen? He will just say, shh, stop, Rocky, stop. And that is enough for the dog to 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 calm down. Yes? Isn't that the experience? Yes or no?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So the Maya, which is always torturing us, if we call Krishna and surrender to him, will Maya torture us? No, because Krishna will tell to Maya, don't touch him, he's my devotee now. Getting? So Krishna is saying, surrender unto the Supreme Lord. By His grace, you will attain transcendental peace and the supreme and eternal abode. So you will attain transcendental peace. The peace, transcendental peace, where actually it is not, there is no pain. The supreme, you will achieve the supreme abode, eternal abode. Tad Vishnu Parampadam. Paramam Padam. You will achieve Vishnu and Paramam Padam. Padam, the, the place you will achieve. That is Vaikuntha Loka. Can someone read this highlighted section in the 15th chapter?
Sure, Prabhu. In the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is stated, Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sannivishto, the Lord is seated in everyone's heart. So, this recommendation that one should surrender unto the Super Soul sitting within means that one should surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Krishna has already been accepted by Arjuna as the Supreme. He has accepted in the 10th chapter as Param Brahma, Param Dhamam.
Paramdham.
Arjuna Arjuna has accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the Supreme Abode of all living entities, not only because of his personal experience but also because of the evidence of great authorities like Narada, Ashita, Devala, and Vyasa.
Yeah. So when Krishna says surrender to that supreme, Krishna himself is the supreme. And Arjuna accepted that in the end chapter. This is the verse. And in that same verse, Arjuna says that even the Rishi Munis were accepting you. And now, Krishna, you are telling yourself, and I am also accepting you. You are the supreme. Thus, I have explained to you this new knowledge still more confidential. Deliberate on this fully and do what you wish to do. 63. So, as a good teacher, after teaching everything, he is allowing the student to make the decision. Yatta ichchasi tatha kuru. Yatta ichchasi tatha kuru. Meaning, you can do what you want now, Arjuna. I have taught you all this. Now you decide what you want to do. That is the best part. That is the sign of a best teacher who leaves the decision for the student after teaching the whole subject matter. Okay. So when we are giving advice or when we are giving knowledge to someone, we should tell all the details, the pros and cons. Okay, and then we should tell, deliberate on this fully, think about it deeply, and then you decide what you want to do. Then you decide what you want to do. So this instruction is for our children also. When we take care of our children or subordinates or friends or whatever, we should tell them all the pros and cons, but they should make the decision, not we. Okay, this is a good sign of counseling. A counselor would explain all the pros and cons and details of the issue, the question that the person is having, right? And then he will tell, deliberate on this fully and do what you want to do. Do you see any issue with this statement? Yatha ichchesi tatha kuru. Any question on this point? Yatha ichchase tatha kuru. As you like, you may act. Indicate that God does not interfere with the little independence of the living entity. Now, another thing he says more confidential, right? So, the Lord has already explained the knowledge of Brahma Bhuta. One who is on Brahma Bhuta is joyful. He never laments, nor does he desire anything. That is a confidential knowledge. So, this is confidential knowledge. Brahma Bhuta. The Krishna also discusses knowledge of the Supreme. That is also Brahman knowledge, knowledge of the Brahman, but it is superior. Superior to that is super soul knowledge. That also Krishna discussed. Before surrendering, one is free to deliberate on this matter as far as the intelligent goes. That is the best way to accept the instruction of Supreme Personal Godhead. Such instructions come also through spiritual master, the bona fide representative of Krishna. So, let's say your child has some question, and you will explain him the pros and cons. Okay, you will explain in the details. Will you allow your child to say yatha ichchese tatha kuru? Do what you want, my boy, my daughter. Will you follow in Krishna's footsteps and say like this? I want to hear from you. How many of you have children?
Yes, Prabhu. We have.
Okay. Will you say this thing to your
We
child?
do. No, no, Prabhu.
Anyone else?
No, Prabhuji.
So do you think if your child becomes 30-year-old, will you still say him like this? Or you won't say him? You won't tell to him?
Now
No,
itself
Prabhu.
they are not
The,
Prabhu. That time obviously they want. Anyhow, they will do what they want to do.
Okay, okay. So I took this thing about child, right? So in this child thing, na, Chanakya, the great Brahmana, he has given us some guidance. So he says 1 to 5, unconditional love.
Unconditional.
So when the child is 1 to 5 years old, then it should be unconditional love. Hmm? 6 to 15, you discipline the child. 15 and greater, you become his friend.
Then
So in 1 to 5, you will manipulate the child. How? The child wants something, you will distract him. He'll say, no, this, no, this, look there, look here. Isn't it? That is enough for the child to get distracted, right? If he's saying, I want that only, you'll give him something else and distract him. Yes or no?
yes, Prabhu.
Now, in 6 to 15, how will you do? You'll discipline. Here, manipulation doesn't work.
Pros and cons we can tell.
We can tell pros and cons, and we may force also, right?
Hmm.
But after 15, you have to become friend. This is where we have to become yatha ichchasi tatha kuru. Here the role of yatha ichchasi tatha kuru comes. So we also give here pros and cons. And then yatha ichchasi, do what you wish. Do you agree to this process?
Yes, yes, Prabhu. And also at after 15 we will say you are responsible for your things
Of course, you
and
are
you need
responsible
to.
and all that. Now, when does this work? After 15, if we say yatha ichchasi tatha kuru to our children, when will this work? Only when the last 10 years we have invested in them. Okay. If we have not invested in them, and then after 15, if we say Yathai Chitaguru, they will definitely take the wrong side. So this period is there, now 1 to 15. These are foundation years. We need to understand this very carefully, that these are the years of foundation. Do you know what is foundation? Do you know what is
Like the
foundation?
pillars for the building.
Yeah. See, foundation is not seen from above, right? Foundation is never seen from above, isn't it? Do you see any foundation? Do you see the foundation of bridge? Huh? Have you ever seen? It is underground. But let's say this foundation is not good. What will happen? If the
It will
foundation of
fall.
the bridge is shallow but not deep, then it will
Shacular fall.
fall down. You see skyscrapers, their foundation is also very deep. But for small buildings, the foundation is small. But if you want to build a big foundation, a big building, tall building, then you have to have a deep foundation, isn't it? So therefore, these years, when we put the foundation years and teach dharma to our children, then after 15 it becomes very easy to say yatha ichche se tatha kuru. When we teach dharma in these years, the child will come to us, and we may actually have to explain some pros and cons. But because the child already knows about dharma, then it is very easy to say yatha ichche tatha kuru. If this dharma is not there, foundation is weak. Foundation is weak, and then you are saying you do what you like. Then what will happen?
Yeah, he may go on wrong
He
side
may take
too.
the wrong. So this whole thing should work together. Okay, it is not just that okay 15 okay and now I have to say no. 6 to 15 we have to teach them dharma, so that after 15 we can become his friend and tell him yatta ichchisi tatha kuru. Okay, understand? This is clear.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, okay.
Yes, sir.
Any questions? So when did Krishna said yatha ichchisi tatha kuru? 18.63. How many chapters had happened before this?
17.
17 chapters. How many shlokas are there? 700 shlokas. Okay, 700 shlokas. How many shlokas are remaining after this? Uh,
15.
15, right? 18, 78, I think. Yeah, 78. Nah. So 15 shlokas are remaining. So let's do the maths. Minus 15. 685 he said, right? 685th shloka is that. That means 97%. So 97% of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is only teaching. After that, he is saying Yatta Ichita Thakuru. So can you imagine how much foundation he has built? 97%. Can you imagine? You understand this point, right? 97% of the time he is only building foundation. And then for last 3% he is telling Yatta Ichita Thakuru. So you can imagine 97% of the time Krishna is just building foundation only. Like I showed this picture. He is just building foundation. How deep the foundation did he build? Hmm? Therefore, he could make a tall building out of Arjuna. We know Burj Khalifa is the tallest building. Yes? How deep will be its foundation? Isn't it? There's no picture since. How deep will be its foundation? 3.7 meters thick, 194 bold piles, 1.5 meter in diameter, okay, and 47 meter below the front. 47 meter they went inside. How many piles they put? 194. After that only they build the Burj Khalifa. Can you understand how much time they had to spend with building foundation? Once they build the foundation, then having the full building is easy, right? Then having a tall building is easy. So Krishna did the same thing. 97% of the Bhagavad Gita he is only building foundation for Arjuna. And then after building foundation, he is saying, Yatta ichchise tada guru, Arjuna, do what you want. So now, what will Arjuna say? What do you think Arjuna will answer this question? Yatta ichchise tada guru. Tell me. Anything that comes to your mind. What will Arjuna say now? He says something in the next verse. Can you tell me what did he say? Did he tell Krishna, I
As
will...
he is already surrendered in 10th chapter itself, Prabhu, so
Huh?
he will accept. As he is already surrendered in the 10th chapter itself, and he's a surrendered soul to Krishna already, so
So
he will.
what he will
I
say?
mean,
What he will say?
he will fight.
He will say, I will listen to you,
He
Krishna. Right?
will go with what Krishna. Yes, yes,
Yeah. So in the very later verses, he says this thing. In the 73rd verses, he says, Karishya vachanitam नष्ट मोह स्मृति लब्धात तत्प्रसादान मैं अच्युतात सितो अस्मि गत संदेह करिष्ये वचनं तव. I will listen to you. Karishye vachanin tava. Tava means you. Karishye means I will listen to you. I will do what you say. Vachanam means whatever you have said. So Arjuna will now become the tall building. Why? Because foundation was done. And the answer Krishna already knew that he will pick up the pro points. He won't go the cons. Right? So this is what we need to understand in our parenting. We have to put a lot of effort in this foundation years. Then after 15 we can be happy. Otherwise we'll be frustrated parents. Does it make sense? Yes or no? I'm not hearing.
yes, yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Okay. So that was little more explanation. Because you are my very dear friend, I am speaking to you my supreme instruction, the most confidential of all. So Brahma Bhuta, Super Soul, all these are confidential. Now even bigger than confidential, that is what Krishna is going to do. He said, hear this from me, for it is for your benefit. The Lord gave Arjuna that knowledge which is confidential. So this is confidential knowledge, Brahman. There is even more confidential than that, that is the knowledge of the Super Soul. And now he's even giving more confidential than this, means secret of the secret of the secret. What is that? Bhakti. Surrender unto Krishna. Sarva dharmam parityajya mam ekam sharanam. This verse is coming. In before that, he's going to say, you do bhakti of me. See 18.65. You just go to the verse. It's a very beautiful verse. मन मना भव मद भक्तो मद्याजी माम नमस्कुरु माम एवैष्यसि सत्यम ते प्रतिजानि प्रियोस्मि. This same verse was appeared where in Bhagavad Gita. It is spoken twice. In which chapter does this verse come? Does anyone know? Ninth chapter. In ninth chapter, same thing Krishna is saying. 9.34. मन्मना भव मद्भक्तो मद्याजी मां नमस्कुरु मम विशेष युक्तम एवं आत्मन मत परायणः. You will come back to me. And same thing he is saying here. Priyosami. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, offer my obeisances. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you because you are my dear friend. Okay. Can someone read this section?
Yes, sure, Prabhu. The most confidential part of knowledge is that one should become a pure devotee of Krishna and always think of him and act for him. One should not become an official meditator. Life should be so molded that one will always have the chance to think of Krishna. One should always act in such a way that all his daily activities are in connection with Krishna. He should arrange his life in such a way that throughout the 24 hours he cannot but think of Krishna. And the Lord's promise is that anyone who is in such pure Krishna consciousness will certainly return to the abode of Krishna, where he will be engaged in the association of Krishna face to face. This most confidential part of knowledge is spoken to Arjuna because he is the dear friend of Krishna. Everyone who follows the path of Arjuna can become a dear friend to Krishna and obtain the same perfection as Arjuna.
Yeah, stop. So what is Krishna saying here? Think of me. Become my devotee. Bhava mad bhakto. So when bhakti is used, karma and jnana, these are not used. Jnani and yogi, these are not used. Right? Madhyaji. Madhyaji means worshipping Krishna with garland, flowers, ornaments, gandha, naivedya, like that. Mam namaskuru. Namaskuru means what? To fall full dandavat. Right? What is full dandavat?
Sashtang Namaskar.
Sashtang namaskar. Yes. We'll see a pictorial representation. This one. This is full dandavat. This is called full dandavat. Uh, Generally, a man does like that, and a woman never does full dandavat. A man does full dandavat. Okay. Mam eva vashyasi, meaning any of the above or all the above. You do any of the above and you do all the above. You will achieve me. Like that. Now 18.66. सर्वधर्मा परित्यज्य माम एकम शरणम व्रज अहम तम सर्व पापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः. This is our favorite verse, right? Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. That surrender saves him from all kinds of sinful. That we should simply surrender, and Krishna will protect. In the seventh chapter, it is said that only one who has become free from all sinful reactions can take to the worship of Lord Shri Krishna. Thus, one may think that unless he is free from all sinful reactions, he cannot take to surrendering process. So, to such doubts, it is said that even if one is not free from all sinful reactions. So, in the seventh chapter, Krishna says one has to be free from all sinful reactions to do devotion service. But here, Krishna is saying, if you surrender to me, then I will take care of all your sinful reactions. There is no need of stressness effect to free oneself from sinful reactions. One should unhesitantly accept Krishna as the supreme savior of all. With faith and love, one should surrender unto him. The process of surrender. Now, Rupa Goswami gives this process of surrender. Anukul अनुकूल्यस्य संकल्प प्रतिकूल्यस्य वर्जनम रक्षित विश्वसु गोपत्रय वर्णम तथा आत्म निक्षेप कार्पण्य सद्विदा शरणागति. according to devotional service, one should simply accept such religious principles that will ultimately lead to devotional service of the Lord. So Krishna says, Sarva Dharmam Parityajya, means give up all religious principles. Rest, isn't it? He says, abandon all varieties of religion. Yes or no? You
Yes,
understand this
yes,
point?
Prabhu.
Yes. But here, our acharyas are saying, Anukulyasa Sankalpa. What religious principles will help us in our devotion service, we accept that. But what doesn't help, we reject it. Okay. So we will do Anukul. What is Anukul? We will accept it. Anukul means favorable. Pratikul means not favorable. Not favorable things we'll give up. So when Krishna says give up everything, it means we won't give up those things which will help us in devotion service. What things help us in devotion service? Can you tell? All our Nitya karmas. Nitya karmas is every day what we do. It helps us to maintain a Brahmanical lifestyle, clean lifestyle. Four regulative principles. It helps us to maintain a very clean, truthful lifestyle. Yeah, right? No meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex. This helps us to maintain a very good sattvic lifestyle, right? So we won't give up these. Okay? But we will give up what? The desires to go to heavenly planets. Those yajnas we will give up. Those mantras we will give up. Why? Because we want to go where? Where do we want to go? Where the bhaktas want to go? Where do they want to go? Tell me.
Golok,
Golok
Prabhu.
Vrindavan. So if something tells, okay, you do this mantra, you go to heavenly planet, will the devotee be interested in doing that?
No.
Yeah,
No,
that's
no,
the thing.
Prabhu.
So we will accept such religious principles which will help us in devotion service, but those principles which are not helping, we'll give it up. We'll say, no, I don't want to do that. One may perform a particular occupational duty according to his position in social order. But if by executing it, he does not come to the point of Krishna consciousness, all his activities are vain. If by executing duty, if one is not able to, contribute in Krishna consciousness, then what is the use of that activity? Like last time I was saying, there is a person who is having a poultry farm and he's killing all the chicken, but all the money that he comes, he is donating also. So is that devotion service? Is it anukul or pratikul? Is it favorable or unfavorable?
Unfavorable.
Yeah. So that is not devotion service. So anything that does not lead to perfectional stage of Krishna consciousness should be avoided. One should be confident that in all circumstances, Krishna will protect me from all difficulties. There is no need to think that one should keep the body and soul together. We should have faith. Krishna will protect me. I will continue my devotional service. I will continue my dharma. There is no need of thinking how one should keep the body and soul together. Krishna will see to that. One should always think himself helpless and should consider Krishna as the only basis of his progress in life. We should pray to Krishna and then we should put our efforts. As soon as one is seriously engaged in devotional service to the Lord in full Krishna consciousness, at once he becomes freed from all contamination of material nature. There are different processes of religion and purificatory processes by cultivation of knowledge, meditation, and mystic yoga, etc. This mystic yoga, what does it give? It gives siddhis to become smaller than the smallest, to give prapti siddhi. You can get anything from other. But what is the use of all that in devotional service? Is there any use? One will become proud. All the yogis, when they become proud, they show off. I can bend this iron, I can produce ash, I can levitate, I can float in air, I can read your mind. But all these things don't help in devotional service. In bhakti they don't help. So devotee doesn't, even if he gets this mystic yoga system, right, even if he gets the powers now, still he is not interested in using them. He's still not interested in using them. Why? Because it is not helping him in his devotional service. Such a thing will just bring him name and fame. But he says, what is the use of name and fame? I don't want all that. I want Krishna and I want service to Krishna. But one who surrenders onto Krishna does not have to execute so many methods. This simple surrender of Krishna will save one from unnecessarily wasting time. It's a waste of time. All these yagyas and all that. We'll do those yagyas which will help us in growing in Krishna consciousness. The Sankirtana Yagya. Papa, all is online. I'm in a meeting. Go. All is online. Video. Okay. One should be attracted to by the beautiful vision of Krishna. His name is Krishna because he's all attractive. One becomes attracted by the beautiful, all-powerful, omnipotent vision of Krishna is fortunate. There are different kinds of transcendence. Some of them are attached to the impersonal Brahman vision. So, will we get attracted to the impersonal Brahman vision, the Brahma Jyoti? No. That is not our goal. In Brahma Jyoti, can we serve Krishna? Can we serve Krishna in Brahma Jyoti?
No.
So we are not interested in that.
No, Prabhu.
Some of them are attracted by the super soul feature, but one who is attracted to the personal feature of Lord, and above all, who is attracted by the supreme personality of God as Sri Krishna himself, is the most perfect transcendentalist. So we are attracted to the Bhagwan. In other words, devotional service to Krishna in full consciousness is most confidential part of knowledge, and that is the essence of whole Bhagavad Gita. Karma yogis, empiric philosophers, mystic, devotees are all called transcendentalists. But one who is a pure devotee is the best of all. That particular words used here is ma suchaha, don't fear, don't worry, don't hesitate, are very significant. One may be perplexed, how one can I give up all these religious forms and simply surrender it onto Krishna? But Krishna says such worry is also useless. Such worry is also useless. 67. Idam te natapakshaya na bhaktaya kadachana na chashushave vachyam na cha mam yo bhaya suyati. Very interesting word. This confidential knowledge. So this is confidential knowledge to do devotional service to Krishna. It may never be explained to those who are not austere. Austere means they are not having good lifestyle. Don't give them this knowledge. Devoted or engaged in devotional service. Or if they are envious of me, don't give them also. Persons who have not gone austerity of the religious principles. They are simply into enjoyment, but no tapasya. Don't give. Who have never attempted devotional service in life. They never chanted the holy name. Don't give to them. Who have never served a pure devotee. Don't give it to them. Especially those who are conscious of Krishna only as a historical person. They think Krishna is only history. He is envious. He is a cunning person. Don't give Bhagavad Gita to them. They will simply do more offenses. That's why we don't give them. Krishna also said, don't give them. For one who explains the supreme secret to devotees, pure devotion is guaranteed. At the end, he will come back to me. Whoever explains this Bhagavad Gita to others, he will come back to Krishna. One has to study Bhagavad Gita. Oh, there is no servant in this world more dear to me, nor there will be ever. Such a servant who explains Bhagavad Gita to others by following it in his own life. He is very dear to Krishna and he goes back to Krishna. Where? Vaikuntha Lok, Golok Vrindavan. And I declare, who studies this sacred conversation of ours, worship me by his intelligence. So we are all worshipping Krishna by his intelligence. Anyone who reads this, anyone who studies this, one who listens with faith without envy becomes free from sinful reactions, attain to the auspicious planets where the pious dwell. If someone has faith in Bhagavad Gita and is not envious of Krishna, then all papa will be burnt and he will attain the planet where the pious dwell, where great personalities are there, Rishi Munis are there. Like Dhruva Maharaj. Do you know where Dhruva Maharaj is there? Where is presently Dhruva Maharaj?
Dhruvalok, Prabhu.
What is that called? pole star. So the north star that is there in the sky is the Vaikuntha Lok. The Vaikuntha Lok that is there within the material world. That planet the Dhruva Maharaj is staying. It is, we are able to see that. See, we just see one star, that's fine, but that is what we are able to see. So one can get such planets. O son of Pritha, O conqueror of wealth, have you heard this with an attentive mind? And are your ignorance and illusion now dispelled? Did you hear it properly, Arjuna? You know, teacher says this, na? Suna kya tumne? Have you? Were you attentive in my class? Bhagavad Gita is not an ordinary book written by a poet or fiction writer. It is spoken by Supreme Personal Godhead. Any person fortunate enough to hear these teachings from Krishna or his bona fide spiritual master is sure to become liberated person and get out of darkness of ignorance. So it is not an ordinary book. It is not poet. It is not fiction. It is wisdom, spiritual wisdom. That which gets one liberated from the material world. It drives away the darkness within our heart. That is Bhagavad Gita. Okay. Let's stop here and open up for some questions or comments. Anyone has any questions or comments? Any questions or comments? Okay. So if you have no questions, then we'll stop here. So thank